Hello, JD Dubois. You're the first one here. Just me and you, JD Dubois. Harlan Crothers, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. You guys are here early. Let's set a goal. There we go. Goal is set. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome. We got a lot of breaking news to cover today. Your beans scraping in his shit box over there. Luigi, leave him alone. Let him go bathroom. That's A-OK, Mira Meyer. Thank you for the $5 donation, Chase Gaddy. Keep up the good fight. I will never stop. Let's see if we could pull up TikTok. What fucked up TikTok is it going to put up first?
A bald boy wanted to grow hair. He spread peanut butter all over his head. He waited until it dried and became hard, then he washed it off with water. The next morning, his younger brother was shocked. His big brother actually had hair now. He rushed to tell their parents. In just a...
Dude, I fucking hate those goddamn videos. Hello.
In regard to Marcelo Gomes, he remains in ICE custody. He was not the target of the investigation, but like we have repeatedly said, sanctuary policies put us in a position to go out into communities and look for people. When jurisdictions don't cooperate with ICE and we don't arrest people in custodial arrests, then we must go out into the community, and when we go out into the community and we find others...
By the way, this is about ICE arresting a high schooler. ICE, like, literally came into this town and kidnapped a child. They kidnapped a child.
Lawfully here, we are going to arrest them. We've been completely transparent with that. He's 18 years old, he's unlawfully in this country. And unfortunately, we had to go to Milford to look for someone else, and we came across him, and he was arrested. That's where that stands.
We're looking for someone dangerous and violent?
Well, I'll take that one. So we're looking for his father. So obviously he's the father of the year because brought his son up here illegally as well. And yes, we had intelligence from a local law enforcement agency. We were looking for the father. And like Field Officer Director High said, they made a traffic stop on that vehicle, which was the father's vehicle. He was driving that vehicle. But like any local law enforcement officer, if you encounter someone that has a warrant, or like I said, is here illegally, we will take action on that. We're doing the job that ICE should have been doing all along.
So ICE was trying to find this guy's father, and like me, when I was younger, I drove my dad's car. Anybody here drive their dad's car when they were young? I drove my dad's car. And this kid was driving his dad's car, this high school kid, and ICE, the Nazis, they stopped him. And when the Nazis realized that that wasn't their target, they said, well, if this is our target's son, why don't we kidnap him? And if we kidnap him, that'll force our target to come and, you know, turn himself in order to save his boy's life. Which also, he's not going to save his boy's life. His boy is probably going to get deported as well. But yeah. Welcome to America. I don't know how to say this Other than, you know, these are just the weakest people I've ever met. These are the weakest people who've ever existed.
I am gravely concerned about the utter lack of independence of the FBI and its weaponization under your leadership. I am concerned that the president is using this book, your book, as a blueprint, as he has said. It's a blueprint for revenge. When can I, a former impeachment manager, expect the FBI at my door?
Ma'am, you want to know who was targeted by a weaponized FBI? Me. You want to know how and why?
Well,
you want to know what I'm doing to fix it?
That. Let me move on.
Well, you should read the
topics.
book because there's no enemies list on that book.
So
there are people that violated their constitutional obligations and their duties to the American people.
That's good.
You mean like Donald Trump, who said he's not sure whether or not he has to uphold the Constitution? You mean like him, Cash? You stupid fuck?
They were rightly called out,
I'm
and you
changing
should
topics.
give that book to every one of your constituents so they can read about it.
I won't be doing that.
That's their loss.
That was FBI Director Kash Patel last month trying to bat away questions about how he is leading the FBI. The book he is referencing is his own. It's called Government Gangsters, and it lays out his vision.
Dude, Kash Patel is literally shilling his own fucking book.
Están mis hijas esperándolos en la casa. 6 niñas tengo que dependen de nosotros.
Real quick, by the way, these people were arrested at immigration court. They showed up to file for an asylum claim. They showed up lawfully to immigration court to become legal citizens. And the Nazis were camped up there waiting to prevent them from becoming legal citizens. And I'll say this again, because all these videos, it's not just live, they end up posted online. If you're watching this, if you can see this, and you can cheer for this, I'm just telling you, you are inferior to me. You are. Your mother was a whore, and your father was a coward. I mean that wholeheartedly.
No vengan porque se los van a llevar a todos.
You hear that? Did you hear what he just said?
Todos.
Don't come.
Se los van a llevar a todos.
Don't come because they're going to take everyone away. You hear that? So, MAGA, you are creating a new problem. Now we're going to have more undocumented immigrants who are refusing to go and do their legal paperwork to go to these court hearings to file for asylum claims because you stupid Nazi fucks are waiting there to arrest them. Yeah, how dangerous. Look at this, guys. This must be one of those dangerous Tren de Aragua members they're always talking about. Look at him. This must be one of those evil, terrible gangsters from El Salvador that they're talking about, right, guys? Just such a gangster, right? Hey, real quick, has anyone seen a single white person get detained? Because I do this for a living. I cover this for a living. And I haven't seen one fair-skinned English-speaking person get detained. Not fucking one. I know it's quiet. It's supposed to be.
So, hang on. I'm going to answer the mask question. So, No, not the mask. The mask. So a lot of agencies were invited to come out 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles where we ran an operation where ICE officers were doxxed. So let's just say that again. People are out there taking photos of the names, their faces, and posting them online with death threats to their family and themselves.
Aww. Aww. The masked Nazis that are going around snatching people up and kidnapping children are getting pictures taken of their faces? Aww.
So I'm sorry if people are offended by them wearing masks, but I'm not going to let my officers and agents go out there and put their lives on the line and their family on the line because people don't like what immigration enforcement is.
Thank you for
They
$5
are wearing
donation.
those masks
OBK.
because we ran an operation with the Secret Service where we arrested someone that was going online, taking their photos, posting their families, their kids' Instagram.
Look at this guy. He sounds like he's about to fucking cry. What are you gonna cry because the Gestapo is getting fucking consequences for their actions? Let me explain something to you. Herr Goring, you fucking... No, you know what you are? You are Herr Himmler. You're the head of the fucking SS, Herr Himmler. Let me explain something to you. You want to know why we want pictures of your Nazis' faces? It's not to dox them. It's not to hurt them. It's so that when all of this is over, so that we can prosecute them. And you, Todd, you should be prosecuted as a fucking Nazi. Same thing with every last one of these fascist fucks hiding in the ICE uniform, putting on a fucking shiesty or a balaclava to hide their identity while they violate our fucking Constitution and round up 1,800 people a fucking day. You don't get to live in peace, you fucking swine. You don't get to live in peace.
Kids' Facebooks and targeting them. So let me ask, is that the issue here, that we're just upset about the masks? Or is anyone upset with the fact that ICE officers' families were labeled terrorists?
Not even somewhat upset about that at all. Not even relatively upset. Nope, not at all. Fuck you. I hope you fucking cry.
The identification, some of these agents don't have label IDs.
Look at him. He ran away because he was about to start fucking crying.
It's about the identification. Some of these agents.
You hear that we're just upset about the masks? Or is anyone upset with the fact that ICE officers' families were labeled terrorists?
It's about the identification. Some of these agents don't
Were
have
labeled terrorist by the public? You see, here's the thing, you fucking baby. You have labeled all brown people as terrorists. You have labeled anybody who stands for a free Palestine as a terrorist. You have labeled anybody who's a radical leftist as a fucking terrorist. These are the consequences of your own action, Todd Lyons. You pathetic fucking worm.
He's intentionally targeting heads of households in an effort to financially pressure people.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Show your face.
Two construction company owners recorded as masked agents began detaining a local gardener at his job site. One of the owners pulled into the parking lot and demanded identification from the agents. The owner said one agent said they were looking for a drunk driver.
We have asked for IDs. Can you please tell me that you refuse to give us your IDs?
We don't need to give you IDs.
You don't need to give us
federal.
IDs.
We do not need to give you IDs.
So how do we know you're federal?
A community member told one of the owners that the man they detained doesn't drive, has no car, and gets around on his bicycle.
This gentleman can barely get in the car. He's being forced in and his hands jammed behind his back. Yep. And we have, all they say is they're looking for someone who is a drunk driver, but these aren't the guys.
In a statement shared with CNN, ICE said the individuals in the video, quote, were in fact federal law enforcement officers, and that the man in the video is a, quote, illegally present Colombian alien who violated the terms of his release by failing to report to immigration authorities as ordered.
Oh, for failing to report to immigration authorities? Here's the thing, you fucking rat bastards. This is what happens when they show up for their fucking immigration court hearings. This is in the fucking court hearings. The immigration court Friday, they made their scheduled court appearances to have their asylum cases heard. Many of them had their cases dismissed by a judge. Fucking, you can't have it both ways. You can't say come here the legal way, and then when they try to come here the legal way, you fucking round them up anyway. This is the high schooler who ICE has detained.
The MAGA movement wants to be the American Taliban. Put up this headline, Kylie. Polite and friendly in his OKC job. In other gig as church leader, he says gay people should be lined up and executed. This is in my city of Oklahoma City. A church leader who advocates executing people who are LGBTQ plus was promoted by the Oklahoma City Park.
Yeah, so MAGA is already calling to round up and execute all gay people. Let me say this again. The MAGA movement wants to round up all the gay people in the United States of America, put them against a wall, and shoot them through the head. And you think that you can converse with these people? You think you can debate with these people? You think you can just have an intellectual conversation with these people? You can't. There's only one way to get those people to be silent.
I'm currently outside of XAI, which is the new supercomputer that the South African scammer has put in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, specifically in South Memphis, which is the blackest, poorest area of Memphis, Tennessee. So it smells terrible out here. The stench is horrible, and that's because of the air pollution that is going on. We know that there's about 35 gas turbines being used by this facility right now, and the Southern Poverty Law Center believes that that is a violation of the Clean Air Act. But on top of that, this facility requires about 1 million gallons of water per day to cool down the supercomputer. The problem is Memphis sits on top of a natural aquifer, deep groundwater, pure good water that comes out of our tap. And for decades, activists have tried to protect the water because there's constant threats to it, including this right here, okay? Now, they say they're going to build a gray water recycle facility in partnership with the TVA down the street, but the problem is that's only going to reduce the strain on the aquifer by about 9%. And they're still going to dump about 80% of that water into the Mississippi River, which who knows what that will do to the environment as they're dumping that in there, okay? They have purposely put this facility here in a black city in America, again, in one of the poorest, blackest neighborhoods in the city, because they want to get away with all of these clean air and clean water violations. And this isn't just going to impact the people around here, okay? If you live out in East Memphis, if you live out in Bartlett or Collierville or whatever, and you're not smelling the air because you're not right on top of it, baby, we drink the same water. The air moves around. This is going to make so many people sick. There's no need for this supercomputer. All it's doing is it's harming our environment. It's harming our water. It's going to make our children sick. It's going to make elderly people in the area sicker. This is not a solution. This is not anything that's going to be of use to anybody in this city. All it is a hindrance. And we need to make sure that the Memphis City Council, that the Shelby County Mayor, that the Memphis City Mayor understand that this is a problem. And we're looking at this nationally, okay? Don't think that the locals are the only ones paying attention to this nonsense. People all around the country and all around the world are watching Memphis right now. And so I'm looking at Memphis leadership and asking, what are you going to do? Because do you really want to have your name on something like this? Do you really want to attach your name to another failure by Elon Musk that is put out to harm people?
Massive shout out to Elizabeth Booker Houston, friend of the show, friend of mine actually. We were together on election night, which was a very emotional night. But yeah, no, if you ever see this, everybody go check out Elizabeth Booker Houston. She's got great fucking content. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I want to see how the comments are.
I made a video with that background audio that's, I'm ashamed to be an American, because God knows I'm not free.
This guy's profile picture is me. Brother, That's how you know you're making it. That is how you know this is such good news. This means that I have infected the brains of the MAGA chuds.
I made a video with that background audio.
It means I'm living in there rent fucking free, bro. Rent free. I love that. Oh, one thing I wanted to get up was the older millennial is turning on Trump. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
This Palantir thing is a great measuring stick of whether or not you're actually a conservative or you're just a Trump sycophant. Because
and I want you guys to prepare for all of these right-wing MAGA chuds to, one by one, start to slowly distance themselves from Trump, okay? Because they're starting to realize that they're going to have to go down on this train with him. They're starting to realize all of that, specifically with this Palantir mass surveillance bullshit. Hey, Chris, did this happen as well during Trump's first term? By that, I mean, like, people going away from Donald. No. See, Trump in his first term was a completely different president because he was scared and uncomfortable. He had never been in D.C. He had never been in politics. He was never a senator or a congressman. He kind of just went from businessman to politician, businessman to president. And he tried somewhat to allow people around him who were career politicians to have power. The thing is, the career politicians around him, well, they chose the Constitution over him when the time came. Remember when he tried to overthrow the government and, the insurrection? He expected Mike Pence, his own vice president, to push through the fraudulent electorate scheme. Well, Mike Pence didn't. Mike Pence chose the Constitution over Donald Trump, and that made Trump realize that the next time he becomes the president, he can't have career politicians. He can't have actual conservatives. He needs cult-like loyalists, and that's what he did this time. He surrounded himself with cult-like loyalists who don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about democracy. They care about Donald J. Trump. That's it. That's all they care about. JD Dubois, JD Dubois, JD Dubois, JD Dubois, JD Dubois, JD Dubois, JD Dubois. How you doing, MJ Gamer? Whew. $5 donation, not as much as normal. I'm in a pickle, but I still try to support. I appreciate that, Momo VT. Listen, guys, if you're in a pickle, don't send me your money, man. If you're in a pickle, keep your money. We're all in a pickle, Just just watch the ads. That'll get me some money. Just watch the ads. So were the ICE agents truly not obligated to present their identification, not even their name per se, but like not even a badge that says, yes, I am real ICE? No, that is illegal, but laws don't matter if you're serving Donald Trump. And we know this for a fact because Pete Hegseth, he committed treason when he added in the Atlantic lead reporter into the Signalgate chat, and his wife and his mother and his sister, all that. That's treason. That is a violation of OPSEC security protocol. Donald Trump is a felon. He's got 34 felonies. No, if you are serving Donald Trump, you can commit crimes. The Trump regime will save you. I mean, dude, Trump pardoned every single one of the January 6th insurrectionists. Trying to overthrow the government is probably the worst crime you could commit, and they're all walking free now. So no, there is no rules. You have to understand, you don't live in America anymore. Guys, you have to stop with this fucking belief that there are rules. There are no rules. You live in a fascist regime. If you have power and you want something, you can do it. That's the world you live in now. Dustin Newell with the $50 bomb for all the work you do. Thank you very much, Dustin. Can we get some W. Dustins in the chat? W. Dustin, W. fucking Dustin. What a goat. What a legend. What a legend. Thank you very much. So, here's the CEO of Palantir.
Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and, on occasion, kill them.
Great. Okay, and this is the guy who wants all of our info. Great. Yeah. Yippee. 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 Love that. All right. I'm going to make a video real quick. Well, actually, first let's read this article together a little bit. In March, President Trump signed an executive order calling the federal government to, quote, share data across agencies, raising questions over whether he might compile a master list of personal information on Americans that could give him untold surveillance power. Mr. Trump has not publicly talked about the effort since, but behind the scenes, officials have quietly put technological building blocks into place to enable his plan. In particular, they have turned to one company, Palantir, the data analysis and technology firm. The Trump regime has expanded Palantir's work across the federal government in recent months. The company has received more than $113 million in federal government spending since Mr. Trump took office, according to public records, including additional funds from existing contracts as well as new contracts with the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon. This does not include the $795 million contract that the Department of Defense awarded the company last week, which has not been spent. Representatives of Palantir are also speaking to at least two other agencies, the Social Security Administration and the Internal Revenue Service, about buying its technology, according to 6 government officials and Palantir employees with the knowledge of the discussions. Okay, so they're going to get all of your Social Security information and your IRS information. Fantastic. Fantastic. The push has put a key Palantir product called Foundry into at least 4 federal agencies, including DHS and the Health and Human Services Department. Widely adopting Foundry, which organizes and analyzes data, paves the way for Mr. Trump to easily merge information from different agencies, the government official said. Creating detailed portraits of Americans based on government data is not just a pipe dream. The Trump administration has already sought access to hundreds of data points on citizens and others through government databases, including their bank account numbers, the amount of their student debt, their medical claims, and any disability status. Mr. Trump could potentially use such information to advance his political agenda by policing immigrants and punishing critics. Democratic lawmakers and critics have said privacy advocates, student unions, and labor rights organizations have filed lawsuits to block data access, questioning whether the government could weaponize people's personal information. Oh, they can and they will. Palantir's selection as a chief vendor for the project was driven by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. According to government officials, at least 3 DOGE members formerly worked at Palantir, while 2 others had worked at companies funded by Peter Thiel, an investor and founder of Palantir. Jesus Christ. We're so fucking cooked. All right. I'm going to make a video. The Trump regime is creating a government database, a super database that is very Orwellian, 1984. It has literally all of our information. They're using the company Palantir to gather all Americans' personal and private information from different branches of the government and compile them into one database so that Trump can punish his critics. Hi, I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. Before we get started, let me just remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Also, this is real independent media. I have no funding. So if you do want to help the channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could become a patron on Patreon. You could become a member on YouTube. You could buy some Valenti Videos merch. And you can use the 40% off discount code for the Ground News Vantage subscription down below. But without further ado, let's just dive into this. So we've got the New York Times article here. Trump taps Palantir to compile data on Americans. The Trump regime has expanded Palantir's work with the government, spreading the company's technology, which could easily merge data on Americans throughout agencies. Now, this right here is the CEO of Palantir. And if you don't know, Palantir is this data firm. They specialize in using AI supercomputers to gather data and compile it and put it into an easily digestible form. And this madman with the insane hair is the CEO. He's also said this.
Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
And on occasion kill them. And they have already labeled anybody and everybody on the left as an enemy of the state. We've heard Caroline No Lip Levitt say that millions of times, that these radical left judges, holy ever-loving fuck, I just got a $100 donation from Trevor H. Mason. Thank you, Holy W. Thank you, and Holy W. That's massive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But back to this. Let's read a little bit of this article here, okay? In March, President Trump signed an executive order calling for the federal government to share data across agencies, raising questions over whether he might compile a master list of personal information on Americans that could give him untold surveillance power. Mr. Trump has not publicly talked about the effort since, but behind the scenes, officials have quietly put technological building blocks into place to enable his plan. In particular, they have turned to one company, Palantir, the data analysis and technology firm. Now, real quick, I just want you guys to understand, we're going to cover this a little bit later in the video. This is so bad that even major right-wing propagandists are starting to jump ship on the Trump train because they can see the brick wall coming. And they know that if they stay on this train, well, they're going to have to go down with it. So one by one, you're going to start to see these right-wing political commentators distance themselves from Trump. They won't abandon MAGA because they can't. MAGA is literally all they have. They built their entire brand around being Trump sycophants, fat idiots like the older millennial. And I just want to show you this. We actually have a video from the fat alcoholic older millennial. He has jumped ship. Now watch this.
Thing is a great measuring stick of whether or not you're... This Palantir thing is a great measuring stick of whether or not you're actually a conservative or you're just a Trump sycophant. Because if you're an actual conservative, you don't fucking support this. So let me just say this to any of my fellow conservative creators that are making content supporting this. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is pure government favors and overreach. This is not...
You voted for this, you fat fuck. You voted for this. Also, this is the same guy who goes live every night getting pissed drunk with some fucking fruity-ass drink and shaved ice.
Okay. Like, this is just a bullshit way to funnel money to Peter Thiel. But let's be real, I don't want involved in anything to do with our fucking guy.
Then why the fuck did you vote for Elon Musk and Donald Trump, knowing very well that they are good friends with Peter Thiel? This is what I'm trying to say, guys. These right-wing hacks are going to start to try and distance themselves and go, oh, I never wanted Peter Thiel involved. Then why the fuck did you vote for this? See, people like me, we all knew that Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Sundar Pichai, all of these technocrats, they are all from the same branch. They're cut from the same cloth. And only now you're starting to realize this?
Government and a massive overreach of the privacy of American citizens. This plan is absolute and total dog shit and should not be supported by anybody who calls themselves a conservative. This is the creation of a database of American citizens' personal information. This is the Patriot Act all over again. Let me just express this very fucking clearly. I do not in any way support this proposal.
Yes, but if I asked you if you support Donald Trump, you will say yes. Because there is no line that Donald Trump can cross that will make you abandon him. That doesn't exist.
Anyone who likes to call themselves a conservative and does support it, just admit that you'll support the sacrifice of your freedoms and your liberty because Trump did it. We have to be willing to call out bullshit on both sides. And this is epic levels of bullshit.
So you're already starting to see right-wing pundits are already abandoning Trump on this. The Trump regime has expanded Palantir's work across the federal government in recent months. The company has received more than $113 million in federal government spending since Mr. Trump took office, according to public records, including additional funds from existing contracts as well as new contracts with the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon. This does not include a $795 million contract that the Department of Defense awarded the company last week, which has not been spent. And Quick Chatter said, go debate older millennial, Chris, if you got beef. I did debate older millennial live, and he ran away like a little bitch, tucked his tail between his legs, and fled the fucking live stream, all because I got him on record saying that he would support legislation that forces women to give birth. That video is posted on my Instagram if you'd like to see it. Representatives of Palantir are also speaking to at least two other agencies, the Social Security Administration and the Internal Revenue Service, about buying its technology, according to 6 government officials and Palantir employees with knowledge of the discussions. The push has put a key Palantir product called Foundry into at least 4 federal agencies, including DHS and the Health and Human Services Department. Widely adopting Foundry, which organizes and analyzes data, paves the way for Mr. Trump to easily merge information from different agencies, the government officials say. Creating detailed portraits of Americans based on government data is not just a pipe dream. The Trump administration has already sought access to hundreds of data points on citizens and others through government databases, including their bank account numbers, the amount of their student debt, their medical claims, and any disability status. Mr. Trump could potentially use such information to advance his political agenda by policing immigrants and punishing critics, Democratic lawmakers and critics have said. Privacy advocates, student unions, and labor rights organizations have filed lawsuits to block data access. Questioning whether the government could weaponize people's personal information. Palantir's selection as chief vendor for the project was driven by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Oh, that's coincidental. The South African billionaire raised under apartheid, he's also a supporter of the South African billionaire raised under apartheid? It's almost like they are buddies. At least 3 Doge members formerly worked at Palantir, while 2 others had worked at companies funded by Peter Thiel, an investor and founder of Palantir. And again, we talk about this all the time. Peter Thiel is not just an investor and founder of Palantir. Peter Thiel is a technocrat. Okay, he is a believer of the neo-reactionary movement, one of the Curtis Yarvin followers. Peter Thiel genuinely wants to replace democracy with tech feudalism, where different CEO billionaires control different sections of the United States, and everybody within those sections work for that one company, much like Hunger Games is different districts. Now, this is not conspiracy. This is written about. This is proudly talked about by Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, Curtis Yarvin. They all say that they don't like democracy. They think democracy has failed, and they want to replace it with this form of monarchism where there's what is it, like a COO at the top, you know? Very, very scary stuff. Some current and former Palantir employees have been unnerved by the work. The company risks becoming the face of Mr. Trump's political agenda, 4 employees said, and could be vulnerable if data on Americans is breached or hacked. Several tried to distance the company from the efforts, saying any decisions about a merged database of personal information rest with Mr. Trump and not the firm. Trevor Mason just became a loyalist. W. Trevor, thank you very much. Appreciate that. This month, 13 former employees signed a letter urging Palantir to stop its endeavors with Mr. Trump. Linda Jaya, a signee who was a Palantir engineer until last year, said the problem was not with the company's technology, but with how the Trump regime intended to use it. Data that is collected for one reason should not be repurposed for other uses, Ms. Jia said. Combining all that data, even with the noblest of intentions, significantly increases the risk of misuse. Well, that's exactly what they want. The Trump regime wants, to be able to just type in your name, Chris Valenti, and have a comprehensive list of everything you've ever posted, whether you're a far-left radical Marxist or a far-right authoritarian Nazi. They want to see every post you've ever made. They want to know your blood type. They want to know what disabilities you have. They want to be able to quickly and efficiently find, target, and ruin you. That is the entire point of this system. It is to root out dissidents of the Fuhrer. It is to find those like me who have political presence and an ability to somewhat sway the public into understanding that Donald Trump is a fascist. So the whole point of this is to destroy the First Amendment in the United States of America. This is George Orwell's 1984, and MAGA will cheer and celebrate. Even to the point where, like we talked about, we showed you older millennial. They're not going to choose older millennial over Donald Trump. Chatter just said, Chris, we got to deport you. There's your example right there. And this is a dedicated hate watcher. He's here all the time. This guy is a fucking crush on me. Do me a favor, cradle my nuts and suck my dick. But we've gotten to the point where actual Americans are advocating to round up and deport their political enemies because they're fascists. These are fascists. These are unironically fascists. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we've got this too. Trump flipped on us. MAGA reacts to potential national citizen database. Supporters of President Donald Trump express anger and disbelief online following reports that his administration has advanced plans to create a national citizen database with the technology firm Palantir. Newsweek reached out to Palantir for comment. The White House has contracted Palantir, a Colorado-based analytics company, co-founded by Trump supporter Peter Thiel, to assist in compiling database. Now, but I want to see the reaction. So, numerous pro-Trump voices expressed dismay and feelings of betrayal across social media platforms like X. Quote, people are so quick to suggest that I flipped on Trump. No, I didn't flip on Trump. Trump flipped on us. I'm just not willing to continue living in a lie, and I will tell you the unfortunate truth about it. The Patriot Voice wrote on X to his 158,000 followers. The thing is, these right-wing MAGA chuds are about to realize that when you create an entire audience around being in a cult, and the cult leader is Donald Trump, you don't get to just say, I don't like this one thing that he did. They're going to choose him over you, you stupid fuck. You built an entire platform around a cult. And now you think you can abandon the cult and keep your clout? You dumb fucks. How fucking stupid are you? The Hodge twins, popular conservatives and Trump supporters, have more than 3.3 million followers on X, wrote, quote, hope this ain't true, y'all. Well, here's the thing. It is true, and even though it is true, you're still going to support him because you're in a fucking cult. Another post on the same day reads, quote, don't know if this is true, but I did not vote for this. Yes, you did. You voted for King Trump. You voted to get rid of your rights. That's what you voted for, and I don't pity you. Nick Fuentes, a Nazi Trump supporter described as a, quote, America First white nationalist, called the association between the Trump regime and Palantir, quote, the ultimate betrayal of his own people. Quote, feeding every MAGA extremist into an AI database controlled by a CIA Mossad cutout, Fuentes said on X, where he has roughly 500,000 followers. Seriously, if Palantir isn't the deep state, then what is? Fuentes also said they are tracking everybody that criticized Israel, everybody that interacts with somebody that's criticizing Israel, and whether you're on a visa or not, whether you're a citizen or not, whether you're brown or not, Christian or Muslim, they're putting you in the Palantir database. They're putting you on the enemies list. If you don't see a problem with that, quote, I'm beginning to think it started when DJT walked down that escalator before 2016, wrote an ex-user with the moniker Redneck Common Sense. Was MAGA a giant psyop? Is Trump the same man he was in 2016, or did I not just see it? The cope is unreal. I voted for Trump, but this is just unacceptable. And that's exactly what it is. It's copium. You've got fucking fat incel groiper losers like 20 North in my chat who will unironically defend every decision Donald Trump makes until their dying day. Even though the main political pundits on the right are jumping ship left and right saying, this is bad, this is not good, this is not conservative, you cannot support this. They're in a cult. They're gonna. Always and forever, because any and all people who still support Donald Trump are inferior to you. They are less than you. They deserve to be treated less than you. Bully these people. If you know anybody who is a Trump supporter, bully them. And I mean this, bully them. Hurt their feelings. Bully Donald Trump. If you have any sort of content creation machine, any sort of platform, every day you need to bully Donald Trump and bully his Nazi followers. Anyway, I'm Chris Valenti. This is the Valenti VOD. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you do want to support the channel financially, become a patron on Patreon, become a member on YouTube. A huge shout out to the members and the patrons. We are at 66,000 subs here on YouTube. We're trying to hit 100,000, so don't forget to hit that sub bell. And also click that video right over there. I promise you, it's a banger. There we go. That's a good one. No, I disagree with Trump on some stuff. No, you don't, 20 North. You will always support Trump. So yes, MAGA don't endorse bullying unlike the left. Yeah, I fully endorse bullying. Yes, I do. I mean it. I fully endorse bullying people like you. I hope you are bullied into submission. I hope Donald Trump is bullied into submission. Yes. I fully support bullying. 1,000%. You look like you're losing weight. Thank you, Alicia. Appreciate that. But yeah, here, I'll just show you for a second. Hey, 20 North, do you support Palantir creating a government database with all the information for every single American? Super database, do you support that? No? Do you support Donald Trump still? $20 says yes. Yeah, don't have to agree with everything. Yeah, that's the thing. There's nothing Donald Trump can do that'll make you stop supporting him. You're in a cult. It's not that you don't agree with him on everything. It's that you can't name 3 things that he has done. You can't name one thing that he has done that has benefited your life more than the billionaire class. You can't name one thing. Yet, you still support him because you're in a cult. You're a cultist. No tax on tips. Didn't go through. It's not in the bill. It has nothing to do with tax on tips. It has to do with a $4,000 deduction if you qualify for the tax deduction on your tips. You're still going to have to pay them. So, again, this is because you don't read. We love you, Chris. Please don't go bald. Oh, I will not. I will not go bald. Chemo couldn't take my dad's hair away, so I ain't fucking losing mine. They all say the exact same thing. Always. No, they're literal parrots. Nona Katz is trying to talk civilly with this guy. Nona, it can't be done. Chris, your dad would have supported Trump? Are you stupid, dude? My dad hated Trump since the 70s. He knew Trump. My dad was a Vietnam veteran, and Donald Trump was a draft-dodging coward for the Vietnam War. You don't even know my dad's name, let alone you think you know something about who he would have supported? Are you dead ass? My dad literally, in his deathbed, was watching Trump on the TV, and you know what he said? He said, that's the last president of the United States of America. My dad said this on his deathbed, watching Trump. He said, that's the last president of the United States of America. And then he fucking died. You out of your mind? Top 5 things that never happened? Dude, this is like one of my final memories with my father. I'm being so dead ass. This was one of my final memories with my father. But also, the fact that you think any Vietnam veteran would support the Trump regime, which is warmongering in 5 different nations, is insane. It's okay to disagree, but let's just try to be nice, brother. I'm not going to be nice to you. Fuck you. Your mother's a whore and your father was a weak coward. Your grandmother is a trailer park skank and your grandfather had a shrimp dick. I'm not going to be nice to you. You're a fucking Nazi. I'm not going to be nice to you. Fuck you. I hope you choke. I'm never going to be nice to Nazis. Fuck you. I wish you violently ill. Fuck you. No. You voted for a rapist. You fully support a rapist. No, I'm not going to be nice to you. Also, Israel rejected the ceasefire that was put forward. Again. Your dad fought against communism and now you're a North Korea supporter. If you think the war in Vietnam was a fight against communism, I can't help you, dude. You are riddled with brain worms. That was a proxy war, and it was completely and utterly fucking useless. We lost that war. My dad didn't fight communism. My dad fought at the behest of American companies, okay?
Breaking news this hour. Ukraine says it has hit the Crimea bridge in an underwater attack. I want to show you this video, which was posted by Ukraine's intelligence agency, showing the moment the bombs went off. While this is the 3rd time Ukraine has hit the 12-mile bridge that's connecting occupied Crimea to mainland Russia since the war began, Ukraine is describing it as a new type of operation. We've got CNN's international diplomatic editor, Nick Robertson, in London for us. And Nick, we're watching this.
Yes, North is trying to speak for my dead father. Yes.
Video.
There is literally nothing that can stop these Trump fucking MAGA chuds.
See those underwater bombs going off. I firstly want to talk about the damage we're seeing on the Crimea bridge. It's clearly very strategic for Russia. Tell me what we know.
Yeah, as the Ukrainians say, it's the 3rd time they've tried to target the bridge, and this time they've gone for one of the sort of vertical concrete pillars that holds the bridge above the water, 35 meters above the water, 9 meters of water. It's not clear how deep, if it was at the base. There's a lot of silt at the base of the Kerch Strait there, that's underneath the Crimea bridge. So this explosion, the Ukrainians are saying, involved 1,100 pounds of TNT equivalent. That is a pretty massive explosion, and we've just been able to see some video shot from a distance from the bridge, and you really can see a huge plume of smoke, water rising up next to the bridge, but it's not quite clear what has actually been damaged, the lasting damage, the impact of all of this. It's important for Ukraine to
See, this is huge news because the Russians have held Crimea since like 2014. This isn't the Ukrainians trying to get back land that they've lost since the Russians invaded main Ukraine in, what was it, 2020? 2021? I don't even remember. But, no, now they're trying to take back Crimea. 20 says, why is Ukraine attacking civilians? Are you serious? Are you serious? They're not. Ukraine has not targeted civilians. They just launched a counteroffensive in Russia that didn't kill a single civilian. They destroyed their military bases. Meanwhile, Russia has actually killed hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian civilians. Are we dead ass right now? Are we dead ass right now? Are you dead ass? They literally went out of their way to avoid hurting civilians. I think this might actually be a Russian bot. Why are you like pro-Putin? Why are you pro-Putin? That's so fucking bizarre. You must either be a Russian bot or you're actually brain dead. I don't have a opinion on Putin. What's your opinion on Zelensky? You don't have an opinion on Putin. What's your opinion on Zelensky? I gotta get some more coffee after I hear this response. He's a dictator. So you don't have an opinion on Putin, but Zelensky's a dictator. Guys, this is an actual Russian bot. Я готовati choch comrade 004. This is an actual Russian bot, guys. 20 North is... I'm not kidding. I mean this. That is an actual Russian bot.
Target because it connects mainland Russia with annexed Crimea. Now,
took you long enough to
Russia
say it,
began
you
that
fucking
invasion
coward.
in 2022, they've taken essentially a land corridor, a land bridge that links mainland Russia to Crimea. But when they annexed it in 2014, they had nothing linking it but a ferry. So high-speed effort 4 years later, they build this 12-mile-long, estimated $3 billion rail and road bridge to link mainland Russia with Crimea. And Russia uses it to resupply and stock munitions closer to the front line in Crimea. And Crimea is also an important naval base for the Russian military as well. So strategically hugely important. And as we've seen, Ukraine is really going after high-value targets, these strategic bombers over the weekend, hitting a significant number of those, and now targeting this bridge again and indicating, the SBU indicating that this is not one and done, that there may be others to follow, the first explosion of this type. And I think, you know, just as we're sort of looking at how Ukraine is trying to blow up this bridge, the two previous attempts were different. One, 2022, the explosion seemed to be much more at road level and explosive.
So the Ukrainians are really going pretty crazy on this counteroffensive. They're trying damn hard. I fucking love Adam Mockler. Trump official who shut down Russian propaganda unit has links to Kremlin. What does that say? Trump official who shut down Russian propaganda unit has links to Kremlin. Trump official. Russia propaganda unit has links to Ukraine. Darren Beattie, who alarmed the State Department with his pro-Moscow views, is married to a woman whose uncle has ties to Vladimir Putin. I'm not doing that. Fuck you. Fuck you.
All right, there is a major story developing out of the Trump administration at a time when the war between Russia and Ukraine continues to escalate. We just learned that one of Trump's hand-picked officials for the State Department has ties to the Kremlin. And to make matters even worse, this dude's first move was dismantling a task force designed to fight Russian and Chinese propaganda. This reads, Trump official who shut down Russian propaganda unit has links to Kremlin. Darren Beattie, who alarmed the State Department with his pro-Moscow views, is married to a woman who has ties. And you may not know this guy's name, but I can assure you, you have heard about Darren Beattie in the past. This is a man who got kicked out of the first Trump administration because he attended a white nationalist event. This is a man whose Twitter is openly full of vile, pro-Russia, pro-China propaganda, yet Trump decides to place him in a crazy high position.
W. Carey. Oh, Carey Vaccaro just became a loyalist. W. Carey.
Of power. You know, before we even jump into Darren Beattie, I want to show you Ukraine attacking Kirk Bridge this morning because it is quite badass, and I love it. Obviously, it's war. I don't love war, but I love the retaliatory and clever nature of what Ukraine.
So Darren Beattie provoked the alarm within the State Department since being appointed in February. His ardent pro-Russia views and Miss Beattie acting under Secretary. What do we got? The years joining the government. Mr. Beattie wrote that Western institutions should be infiltrated by Putin, while he also attacked what he described as the globalist American empire. The globalist American empire. Liberal media.
Let's jump into.
These goddamn liberals. Luigi, come here. Come here, mama. Getting more info on that Boulder terrorist attack. Boulder terror attack laid a suspect charged with 16 counts of attempted murder as number of victims rise. Waluigi, du har ras. Kom till Hilfe, Laus. Kom. Aktun. Mach schnell. Kom. Waluigi. Come. 9. Her government name is Waluigi? No, that's what I call her when she's being bad. Sprechen Sie Deutsche, Chris? Jawohl. Jawohl. Bombastic side-eye. By the way, I'm willing to bet money that 20 North is about to accuse me of being a Nazi for speaking any German. I'm willing to bet money. Do dogs understand German better? It depends on the breed. This is a German dog breed. So I believe it is within her nature to understand German more than it is to understand English. She is a Dachshund. Dachshund. No, but I do find it weird you speak Russian. Dude, the Russian I speak, I memorized from watching The Winter Soldier. Yagotovati Chach means ready to comply. And it's what Bucky says after they finish reading his code words. He's like, punch trying to get, no! And they're like, what do they say? Rozvet, Jelanie. And then he fucking goes and he goes, Yagotovati Chach. Like, the fact that you find that suspicious goes to show that you actually have a mental disability, dude. You are mentally disabled. You hear somebody speaking a lick of Russian, a lick of it, and go, well, that's suspicious. He must be a Russian spy. Anyway. Back to the Boulder attack. A man has been charged with a federal hate crime and 16 counts of attempted murder after 12 people were injured in an attack on a, quote, run for their lives event in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday afternoon. Excuse me. Eyewitnesses reported that the attacker shouted, "Free Palestine!" before firing incendiary devices, including a, quote, makeshift flamethrower and Molotov cocktails, at a gathering for activists who demanded the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas, according to the FBI. The Bureau is investigating the incident as a, quote, targeted terror attack. Suspect, Mohammed Sabri Soliman. I think they have a picture of this guy. Is there a better picture of him? Yeah, there he is. FBI said the attack targeted referred to as a Zionist group and had been planning the attack for a year. He also said that he would do it again. Yeah, and Chris supports this, by the way. What? No, I don't. This is terrible. You're hearing it from the horse's mouth right now that I don't support this. You're hearing it right now from the horse's mouth. You're in the moment. You are in the moment right now. And I'm telling you I don't support this. Are you okay? Are you, like, a grown person? They shouted, "Free Palestine." That's why we are cracking down on people like this. Okay, so let me just get an understanding of your brain. So because this terrorist said, "Free Palestine," and then committed an act of terror, you're claiming anybody who says "Free Palestine" is a terrorist? Is that the logic you're using? Anybody who says "Free Palestine" is a terrorist? Is that what you're saying? I'll wait. I'll wait. Still waiting. No, but you see, that's why Trump is cracking down on Palestine supporters. Okay, so you just said no, which means you understand that people who support Palestine are not terrorists. So let me ask you this. If I support Palestine, I support a free Palestine, am I a terrorist? Am I a terrorist? Thank you for the $5 donation, Trevor Mason, for the free Palestine. No. Okay, so 20 North, you understand that you can be pro-Palestine and not a terrorist. Yet, you said you want to crack down on anybody who says free Palestine. You're contradicting yourself. You are contradicting yourself right now. "45 told authorities he spent a year planning the attack and had researched and specifically targeted a, quote, Zionist group. The injured are understood to be aged between 52 and 88 and were rushed to hospitals in the Denver metro area. The eldest among them is also a Holocaust survivor, according to Rabbi Israel Wilhelm, the Shabbat director at the University of Colorado Boulder. Solomon was detained at the scene and is reportedly an Egyptian national who entered the U.S. on a visa that expired 2 years ago, but was then granted work authorization lasting until March of 2025. Wait. So this guy's a legal migrant. This guy's a legal immigrant. He was granted work authorization lasting until March of 2025. Oh, wait, no. It expired in March. So technically, he's been an illegal immigrant since March. Where's Jack? I don't know. Probably sleeping. So the Israelis are practicing this new tactic because the Gazans are starving to death. The Israelis are kind of doing mouse traps. They're laying out giant swaths of food and medical aid and water, and they're leaving it in these areas that are visible, and they're luring the hungry and thirsty and starving and dying Palestinians, specifically women and children, towards the food. And then once they get close to the food, they have Israeli snipers and drones set up, and the snipers just start shooting the children in the fucking head and then again in the heart, and the bombs target all of the women who are running away. It's the darkest shit I've ever seen. It's this new strategy. Yeah, right? Brother, they're proud of this. They are not hiding this whatsoever. They're not hiding this whatsoever, dude. Doctor describes total carnage as 27 reported killed by Israeli fire at Gaza Aid Center. Hamas-run health ministry says 27 people have been killed and 90 injured by Israeli fire while waiting for aid distribution in Rafah. The Israeli military says it fired shots near an aid complex after identifying, quote, several suspects, and it is examining reports of casualties. Total carnage and being overwhelmed with casualties. Israel kills dozens in Gaza as starving Palestinians die for aid. Peace out, Nona Cats. Have a good one.
هاي الميتين في القبر مش سلمانين. ايش حال احنا الطيبين اللي بنمشي في الشارع؟ ولا واحد فينا سلمان. والله هذا قبر مع قصف الليله هفت من الحجار اللي نزل عليه، فهنا في جثه بني ادم انسان يعني كرمناه في اولها، وهينا بدنا نكرمه ثاني مره اخرى وحتى ايش نرجع له القبر زي ما بقى. فنسال الله انه يعني ربنا يفك الكرب على خير
نحمد الله انه تم استهداف المسجد في الليل، لو تم استهدافه في النهار. انت عارف هذه المنطقه سوق شعبي مليء بالناس، ما يقارب فوق ال 3000 انسان فيه. يعني اللي صار مستهدفين في النهار كان كمجزره في دير البلح. احنا زهقنا. وين وقف النار؟ وين وقف النار؟ الناس قاعده بتموت مليون مره، لا اكل ولا شرب ولا طحين. اليوم انت عشان رغيف حبه طحين بتروح على رفح وغاد بتموت، وخليك في الحرميه وقطاع الطرق. وين بدك تروح؟
I can't believe people see this shit and cheer for it. I just can't believe that there are people like that.
The chaos and the pity. The chaos and the pity. The desperation that is the legacy when aid is blocked. Today, the UN's Chief of Humanitarian Affairs, a former British diplomat, told me Israel had forcibly starved Gaza.
I mean, so out loud, Israeli ministers have been saying that they want the population of Gaza to be relocated.
Was that ethnic cleansing?
It's the forced removal of a population.
Ethnic cleansing.
And in this case, by withholding of aid. Now, again, the call out, Israeli ministers have been saying that they want the population of Gaza to be relocated.
Was that ethnic cleansing?
It's the forced removal of a population.
That's
ethnic cleansing.
And in this case, by withholding of aid. Now, again, the courts will judge what to call that, and I have to pick my words very, very carefully. I'm a humanitarian, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a politician.
To be clear, what we are seeing is the forced starvation of the population.
We're seeing food sat on the borders and not being allowed in when there is a population on the other side of the border that is starving. And we're hearing Israeli ministers say that is to put pressure on the population of Gaza. Now, we just want to work.
So,
we
listen,
have a plan.
Your opinions don't matter on this. Facts don't care about your feelings. The Israelis have weaponized starvation. Okay? That is what we've reached. Okay? And I've said this before. There is no nation on planet Earth that resembles Nazi Germany the way that Israel does. Israel is the closest modern nation to Nazi Germany that has ever existed. And they have willingly, publicly, without shame, adopted starvation as a weapon to deploy on 14,000 infants in Gaza. 14,000 of them starving to death.
And to deliver, we just want to get in.
That's a war crime, isn't it? If you use food as a weapon.
Yeah, it is classified as a war crime. Obviously, these are issues for the courts to take the judgment on, and ultimately for history to take a judgment on. As a humanitarian...
Exactly, and history will look back on this moment, and this is why I find this so important. This one goes out to 20 North. Your guys are going to live, and in 20... 30, 40, 50 years, you're going to have family. And they're going to ask you, you know, what happened in Gaza? What was the Holocaust like? Not the first Holocaust, the second one. What was the Holocaust in Palestine like? And you are going to have to tell them that you were on the side of the genociders, not on the people who were being murdered by the hundreds of thousands. You're going to have to look your grandchild in the eye and say, you were on the side of the genociders. You were on the side of the oppressors, not on the side of the oppressed. You will have to live with this. History will not look back on you as being good. History will look back on you as being just like the Germans who plugged their ears and closed their eyes as the ashes of their Jewish neighbors fell on them. That's who you will be. Oh, there's a baby in the hallway. You know what that means. Luigi don't like babies.
Is just in getting as much of that aid in as possible, as quickly as possible.
Israel has claimed that Hamas steals food aid, and it accuses the UN of acting like a mafia by refusing to cooperate with Israel's military-organized aid distribution centres. Well, the Israelis say they have to do it their way because Hamas is stealing the aid.
There's very, very little stealing of aid by Hamas. Now, is some of that aid then getting to market and being stolen by Hamas from market or bought in market? Now, there's always a risk of that. In such a complex, contested, militarized environment, I don't want to see any of that aid getting to Hamas. That matters to us because these are our principles: neutral, impartiality, independent. So it's in our interest to stop that aid getting to Hamas and ensure it gets to civilians.
Mr. Fletcher visited Gaza in February while there was still a ceasefire. In recent days, he's come under criticism for stating that 14,000 babies would die in 48 hours because of the blockade, a claim the UN has retracted.
Didn't you damage your own case when you talked about 14,000 babies
I could turn it up a little bit. Sorry.
dying within 48 hours? Pretty big gaffe.
I think we've got to be very, very careful with our numbers. We've got to be precise. And that's a lesson that I've learned in the last couple of weeks.
Are you sorry for that?
I regret that I used the 48 hours because in reality, those deaths will take place over a longer time, but they are at risk.
Because when people take that, and along with the statement about thousands of trucks lined up on the border not being able to get in, the risk is looking like a hype merchant.
There is that risk. And there is a risk, when we're out there using these big numbers, and they are overwhelming numbers. We've got provisions to fill 10,000 trucks and get them in. That can feed everyone in Gaza, all the civilians, for several months. And that's the real point here.
Mr. Fletcher drew international attention when, 2 weeks ago, he appealed to the UN Security Council to act to prevent genocide in Gaza, a statement Israel attacked as support for Hamas. But how will history judge how the world responded to the Gaza crisis?
History will judge us. I think that history will be tough in the way it judges us. And it must be.
What did Sky King say? What did he say? I can't see every message. I can't see every message. Let me check. He blamed me for my parents being divorced. All right, well, I mean, listen, probably was your fault. No, I'm kidding. Totally fucking kidding. Listen, I'll give him one chance. Sky King, just fucking calm down. You're in here fighting people in the chat. It's a YouTube stream. What are you doing? You want to harass somebody, harass me. I'm the streamer. The fuck? Jesus Christ.
When I went to the Security Council, I chose my words very, very carefully. And I'm choosing them again carefully now. I wanted to issue a warning to the Security Council that in previous cases, Rwanda, Srebrenica, Sri Lanka, the world had told us afterwards that we didn't act in time, that we didn't sound the warning and ask that the world respond to prevent genocide. And that's my call to the Security Council and to the world right now. Will you act to prevent genocide? It's been announced in advance. We can't say we didn't know what was happening. And all I'm asking is for the international community to be able to say, tell them we did what we could. That's what we're trying to do. And nothing we get thrown at us will stop us doing that.
In the ruins of Gaza, the hunger, the fear, the trauma, the anguish too of Israel's hostages. 601 days of suffering.
He's still doing it. Guys, who gives a fuck? It's a child. What do you mean ban him? He's a fucking child. What the fuck? Calm the fuck down. Just block him. Ignore him. I fucking hate the guy, but what do you want me to do? Ban him for fucking making a joke? For fuck's sake, guys. Man the fuck up. I sit here telling people that their parents are fucking whores and their grandparents were trailer park scum. And they sit here and they take it or they fuck off. You guys can handle this. It's not a big deal. You guys can handle this. It's a fucking child. It's a child. For fuck's sake. Sky King, how old are you? How old are you? 22? Oh, Jesus Christ. Never mind. I thought you were like 15. But still, he's acting like a child. Why are you giving it attention? Just fucking block him. Who gives a fuck? I don't ban people for being weird or, I guess, for, you know, like fighting in the chat. I ban people for saying slurs. I ban people for spamming. I ban people for being like really weird when it comes to like children. But I'm not going to ban people just for fucking fighting with you in the chat. For fuck's sake, we are talking about a genocide. Listen, this goes for both sides here, for both Sky King and for everybody else. We are talking about a genocide right now, okay? There are fucking tens of thousands of people starving to death. Why is some fucking guy in this chat, especially you, Sky King, why are you focused on this? I don't know if you're American, but we have a fucking nightmare happening all around us. There are far more important things to focus on than these personal fucking digs in a YouTube chat. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Aw, like, what the fuck are we talking about? It's pathetic. Ban him? Listen, I will ban you, but not for that. I will ban people for valid reasoning. But like, dude, if someone's just pissing you off, just block them. Just block them. For fuck's sake. Yeah, y'all care more about this fucking argument than a fucking genocide. Why are you being fascist and restricting the rights of us Americans, Chris? All right, you are gonna get fucking permabanned simply because I want to trigger you. Do you think me permabanning you is violating your rights? Do you think that if I permaban you right now, I'm violating your rights? Is that what you think? $5 donation, staying focused on the important topics. I love your passion. Keep going. Thank you, Pepper. I appreciate that. But real quick, 20 North, if I permaban you, is that violating your rights? Nah, it was a joke, bro. Chill. I don't give a fuck. Hold on. I'm putting you in a fucking 5-minute timeout so you can feel what it's like to have your rights restricted. You're not letting me comment? You're restricting my rights! Nah, Amy, Chris told you to calm down. No, I told you to calm down as well, Sky King. Last chance. Last fucking chance, Sky King. Focus on the task at hand, or I'm just gonna perma-ban you. Why? Because I'm the fucking live streamer. I can ban whoever the fuck I want. For fuck's sake. I mean, for God's sake, guys, we have fucking Taiwan testing rocket systems right next to China. For fuck's sake.
This live fire drill was years in the making, with high-precision weapons made in the USA and purchased by Taiwan. These HIMARS, high-mobility artillery rocket systems, arrived here late last year, the same systems Ukrainian soldiers have been using to target Russian positions. Mobile launchers are equipped with guided rockets that can strike 185 miles away. That's well beyond the southeastern coast of China. More of these rocket systems will be delivered here next year. That's earlier than planned, part of this race to overhaul Taiwan's defenses. This colonel said, "We have 100% confidence in our readiness, new equipment, and strategy." Taiwan is a self-governing democracy that Beijing claims as its own. China's President Xi Jinping makes no secret of his intentions to unify the island with the mainland and won't rule out using force.
We face a huge challenge, a security challenge from the mainland China. So we have to make ourselves very well on the combat readiness.
Billions.
Nelson says, where are my mods? I'll fucking show you where my mods are, Nelson. Nelson Snow, add as moderator, managing moderator. Save. Bang. There's my moderator. That's where my moderators are. Right there.
Of dollars in U.S. arms.
Congratulations, you've been promoted.
Deals have been helping Taiwan build up and revamp its defenses with weapons like drones, missiles, and upgraded fighter jets. They've expanded mandatory military service to 1 year, and reservist training just increased too. I think it's useful in practice, says this reservist. U.S. military personnel are also involved with training, at least dozens of them according to the Pentagon, though an exact number on the ground and what they do is a bit murky. It's all fundamental to a U.S. mandate to provide Taiwan with weapons and skills to deter any attack by China. HIMARS mark a significant step, as well as an intelligence sharing deal with the U.S.
Is it a game changer for Taiwan?
Yeah.
Yet now, more than ever here, there are questions about reliability and whether the U.S. would intervene if China ever invaded.
Taiwan did take all World War IV? Bitch, what year are you from? What do you mean? Do you know something I don't? What do you mean World War IV? What?
Chip business. You know, we used to make our own chips. Now they're made in Taiwan.
Officials in Taipei were rattled first by comments President Trump made on the campaign trail regarding semiconductors, and then telling Bloomberg in an interview after his inauguration that Taiwan, quote, should pay us for defense.
You don't have the cards.
Then came the collapse of U.S. support for Ukraine, and now the threat of steep tariffs on Taiwan's exports.
We still consider that there is conflicting ideas emerging.
Do you have a video on Taiwan and China tensions? I know they don't like each other. I need to do more research. I don't have one, but I could make one. But let me explain one thing to you guys. There was a period of history where the United States of America did not recognize China as a nation at all. There was a small place called Taiwan, and we labeled them as China. And we did deals with them, and we said that's China, and that mainland China doesn't exist. There was a very long period of this where we claimed that was China. And then the Chinese said, well, okay, if that's China, then we're going to go take it. And we said, wait a minute, no. You can't take it. It's this weird, fucked up relationship. Chris, do you think the Democrats will do good in the midterms in 2026? It depends. The Democrats have to completely and totally abandon liberal politics, okay? You need people like AOC, Bernie Sanders. You need actual leftists. You need younger people to try and primary these fucking neoliberal pieces of shit who don't want to see anything change. We're safe here with Trump got us in his arms. Uh-huh. Not a cult, by the way.
In the U.S. government right now. Which voices or narratives should we listen to?
Taiwan's president is pledging this week to buy more American goods as it tries to downplay tariff tensions as friendly friction. But leaning into the anxiety is China, ramping up military activity around the island, and most recently, staging amphibious landing drills in the Taiwan Strait. The head of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral Samuel Paparo, warned that Chinese exercises are not drills but rehearsals, leaving the island looking to Washington for clues about whether more deals will equal a deterrent for China or just more uncertainty.
I have a question. 20 North because you said Golden Dome, baby. Do you think we don't have anti-missile defense in the United States of America? Do you think we don't have anti-missile defense systems? Now, but the Golden Dome is a epic upgrade. So you're saying upgrade. So you believe that our current anti-missile defense systems don't work. Do you think that our current anti-missile defense systems do not work? Do you think lefty anti-electoralism plays a role in why we don't have many young progressives running for office? No, I think the reason why we don't have many people running for office is because you need a tremendous amount of money to win a campaign ever since Citizens United went through. They work, but the Golden Dome is better, so why not, right? Oh, well, the why not is because it's a tremendous waste of money. We already have an anti-missile defense system, the best anti-missile defense system on planet Earth, and you are willing to spend trillions of dollars that could be better used, I don't know, fixing up the infrastructure of our cities or creating social safety nets, on creating a bullshit, phony-ass, unnecessary Golden Dome. That's why. Because we already have it. Yeah, we could use that money on universal health care, or we could build schools, we could build hospitals, we could build high-speed transit. We could do so much with that money, but no. Let's build a Golden Dome. That's so cool. Golden Dome. Golden Dome sounds super cool. I want Golden Dome. I want a Golden Dome. Golden Dome sounds like a scam. It is. It's just a fucking ploy to deploy the military-industrial complex and let different companies build different layers. The whole thing is about boosting the profit margins of his top investors. Disrespectful, I don't have downs. Fucking cry about it, bitch. I don't give a shit. I think it's better to protect us from a nuke rather than a better train system. So again, do you think we don't have anti-missile defense? We already have it. It already exists. Like 20 North, do you think you're going to profit off of this? Do you think that your life is going to get better by creating a Golden Dome? This design was created by a Nazi by the name of Werner von Braun. He created the world's first man-made object to leave the atmosphere and then come barreling back down. It was the V-1 rockets that the Nazis used to rain down on London during the Blitz. Look at what 20 North just said. Trump is one of the boys. He's just a little boy thinking about cool stuff for our nation. That's the most pathetic thing I've ever read. Guys, if you ever needed proof to, like, not take these kids seriously, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to see. There's no, like, why are you even interacting with these kids? Those are children.
Down by
saying for years that hypersonic missiles are going to completely change this world. And I think we're realizing it now. I don't think you guys understand. A hypersonic missile can travel from, like, New York to California in less than an hour. 3,000 miles in less than an hour. Talk about space interceptors. I swear to fucking God, if they're talking about, like, X-Wings. Guys, if they're talking about, like, men in Space Force flying X-Wings to shoot these things down, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. In atmosphere.
By the end of his term. Though experts say it could cost billions more and take much longer to build.
That's right, Sir Trump. 20, I just want to say one thing, dude. You do gargle Trump's cock. You do know that, right? There's a lot of Trump supporters out there. You're one of them. It doesn't matter. But, like, you really do gargle Trump's cock more than most Trump supporters. You know that, right? That's right, Sir Trump. He's not here. He can't hear you. Like, I don't understand how your brain works. That's right, Sir Trump. You're cradling his nuts and throating his cock. What the fuck is this? That is the most parasocial shit I've ever seen. Just showing support. He can't hear you. That's right, Sir Trump. Get the guy's dick out of your mouth. He's a 79-year-old politician. That's right, Sir Trump. What is the matter with you? What the fuck? Dude, I've met him. Again, who gives a fuck? Do you think he remembers you? Do you think he remembers you? Do you think he cares about you, you stupid fuck? Dude, I met him. Brother, and I've met the Clintons and the Obamas. I'm not stupid enough to think that they give a fuck about me. I'm here watching Obama give a speech and going, that's right, Sir Obama. That's right. Yeah. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Libs by throating the cock of a 79-year-old man. You call him daddy. You said earlier you're 22 years old. 22-year-old man calling a 79-year-old man daddy is really fucking gay, dude. Really fucking gay. I have to end the stream in like 15, 20 minutes, guys. Excuse me.
As we keep an eye on your world this morning, Russia and Ukraine are no closer to peace after another round of direct talks in Turkey.
It comes after Ukraine launched a surprise drone attack in Russia over the weekend. Overnight, Russia responded with its own drone attacks. During the peace talks, both sides agreed to a prisoner swap. Russian state-run media says they also agreed to a third round of talks, but no date was set. Ukrainian officials said Russia rejected calls for a month-long ceasefire.
Yeah, because Russia doesn't want a fucking ceasefire. Russia wants the entirety of Ukraine. They want all of it. Do you cheer when your favorite sports team scores or wins? Well, by your logic, like, they can't hear you. First of all, your grammar is atrocious. Second of all, this isn't sports. This is politics. Do you think this is a game? You do know politics actually directly affects people's lives, right? You think this is a team? This is exactly my point. MAGA chuds think this is a team game. They think that, like, oh, I won. You didn't win. Donald Trump won, and you're not excluded from any of the bills he passes or any of the executive orders he signs. You didn't win shit. Your parents didn't get undivorced. The family members who hate you aren't going to unostracize you. You're not going to go from 5'6" to 6 foot. That's not going to happen. You didn't win shit. Donald Trump did. You didn't. The fuck? Is that Dutch Trump? Is that Donald Trump but Dutch? What the fuck is this? Is that Dutch Donald Trump?
Dutch far-right leader
I'm 6'3". Yeah, dude, and I'm
Geert
black.
Wilders' PVV party left the governing coalition on Tuesday. The decision is set to topple the right-wing government and will likely lead to new elections in the Netherlands.
Is that Donald Dutch?
Ik heb de minister-president.
I also just informed the Prime Minister that I...
Brother, that's Donald Dutch. This is Donald Dutch.
will withdraw the PVV ministers from the cabinet and that we can no longer bear responsibility for this. I signed for the strictest asylum policy, not for the downfall of the Netherlands. And our responsibility for this cabinet therefore ends at this moment.
Wilders said his coalition partners were not willing to support his ideas on halting asylum migration. Prime Minister Dick Schoof has not yet reacted to the resignation. The surprising move ends a fragile coalition that has struggled to reach consensus since its installation last July. The prospect of a new election adds to political uncertainty in the Eurozone's fifth largest economy. Local residents hoped fresh elections could bring stability to the country.
I hope that with the new elections we will choose, or that it will lead to a government that's more moderate and that
Why is she so close to the fucking camera? Back up, bitch.
has more eye for reality and for inclusivity of all people and all animals.
Others were more skeptical.
I think there will be a new election and Wilders will be the biggest party, so he can control it. So no more others who will annoy him, so he can do like Trump is doing and other European country where extreme right is taking over.
The move will also likely delay a decision on increasing defense spending to meet new NATO targets. And it will leave the Netherlands with only a caretaker government when it receives NATO country leaders for a summit to decide on these targets in The Hague later this month.
BTW, I've gotten richer under Trump. Brother, you weren't rich in the first place, and you're still not rich. You want to know why I know that? You're in my YouTube chat. Do you think rich people sit in YouTube chats for an hour and 52 minutes? Why are you lying to yourself? That's the strangest shit I've ever heard. Why did the Dems lose? Because they chose Kamala Harris as the fucking nominee. They didn't even give her a fucking primary. They just pushed her through. Also because Joe Biden refused to step down despite the fact that his brain was leaking out of his fucking ears. That's why. Chris, he made that account just to be here. It's 4 days old. 20 North, your account is 4 days old. You made your account just to be here. Don't ban him yet. I want to call him out on this. Did you make an account just to come here? Because my mods can see that. They can see how old an account is. Did you make an account just to come here? Nah, brother, this is my new account, though. This is my alt, but this is my first time being here. No, it's not. First of all, no, it isn't. You were here last stream and the stream before. I remember you. We had this conversation when you told me you met Trump. So, again, I'm just going to ask, why did you make an alt account to come here? I've been here since last stream. So again, what's your main account's name, 20 North? If this is your alt, what's your... Yeah, you also did Stolen Valor. You pretended you were a veteran. You said you fought in Iraq, remember? You remember? Stolen Valor? That's you. You said you were a veteran that fought in Iraq. Don't you remember? I never said I fought in Iraq, brother. That wasn't you. That was you. We remember it. We remember it. Anyway, last chance. Did you create an alt account just to come here into this YouTube chat? Did you create an alt account just to come here? Good morning, Jack. You've got a new friend. Nelson is now a mod as well. Nah, brother, this is just a new alt I made. No, it isn't. And now you feel embarrassed and ashamed because you've been discovered. You made an alt account just to come to a YouTuber's stream that you don't like to defend your God King Donald Trump. Most likely because your main account was banned from this channel already. Like, be honest with yourself. There's no need to lie. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? That's really weird. It's the only second stream I've been, so I don't know, man. No, you've been here for many other streams on your main account, and you were probably banned from your main account. I'm willing to bet you are Koofs. Willing to bet. I live in your fucking head rent-free to the point where you made an alt account just to come back here. How does that make you feel, you pathetic little bitch? Do I trigger you that much? You gotta come here for what, an hour and 56 minutes? Aww. Little boy so twiggled. Don't you have things to do? Because you're in my office right now. I'm making money right now. Off of you. Off of your engagement. Ad revenue. Real quick, somebody send me some money. Send me some money real quick. Where's the proof, Chrissy? That's 100% Koofs. That's 100% Koofs. If it wasn't Koofs, he would have said, who's Koofs? That is Koofs. Hello, Koofs. We found ya. Hi, Bubby. Hi. $5 from Disobedient Avocado. Thank you for the 20 North money. $20 donation from Missing Space. Screw it, I got you, Chris. Thank you for the money. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much, guys. You know this is defamation. No, it's not. By the way, 20 North admitted to being a transsexual, undocumented immigrant. 20 North has a primary account. It's Koofs. And he admitted earlier in the chat that he's a transsexual, undocumented immigrant. Thank you for the $1 membership, or for gifting one membership from Matthew Pompeo. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations. He supports Trump even though he's trans? Yes. 20 North, he says, keep saying that, Chris. I'm going to clip this and send it to my lawyer. Go ahead. 20 North is a transgender who actually is an undocumented immigrant, yet he supports Donald Trump. He also has a main account called Koofs. He's going to send this clip to his lawyer because he thinks this is defamation. He also thinks that if I ban him from the chat, that's a violation of his First Amendment rights. Right? That's a violation of his First Amendment rights. Aww. Oh, no. Oh, no. How much did your 3 million TikTok account make you money-wise? A lot. I don't know who Koofs is, but okay. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It's you. It's you. To send to your lawyer, but is not using your actual name. So what is there to defend? Yeah, no, these people don't understand how the law works. They think that because they voted for Trump, the law works for them. Simple as that. That's the extent of their fucking brain. Yeah, he also misspelled it by one letter. How convenient. How convenient. What does being banned from a YouTube account have to do with the First Amendment? Nothing at all. These people genuinely believe that if they are banned from a YouTube account, that we are violating their First Amendment rights. This is because they don't understand how the Constitution works. We laundering again? Also, 20 North is Koofs 100%. Thank you for the $2 donation, Ove. I really appreciate that. Do gotta end the stream soon. A couple of minutes. This is weird. I came from TikTok, but okay. No, you didn't, dude. I don't know why you're lying and trying to pretend that you're not Koofs. We all know who you are, bro. You made an alt account 4 days ago because Koofs was banned on this. Dude, you don't need to pretend it. Let's be so fucking for real. I made cookies. Nice, Jack.
I just want to say happy Monday. The weather is beautiful. We have another very busy week here at the White House, as you know. The Chancellor of Germany will be here later this week on Thursday for a visit with the President. The President will also be holding a roundtable with law enforcement later this week as well. Today he is packed with meetings and calls on all...
The transgender undocumented immigrant, 20 North, said, again, who is this Koofs and why do you hate him? He is you. He is your main account.
Of the challenges our country faces, but there's a lot of good news on the economic front as well. You see the inflation report. Inflation is down. We saw a report this morning showing that incomes are up. Consumer confidence in May jumped to the highest it has had in a month jump in 4 years. So there's a lot of good news. There's a lot of work to do, and the president's hard at it. So why don't I take a few questions?
Caroline, what can you say to the Jewish community today to ensure that the White House is doing everything they can to keep them safe after the horrific attack in Boulder, and also the 2 Israeli embassy staff who were targeted just last week here in our nation's capital?
Yeah, we have seen 2 horrific cases of anti-Semitic violence in our country in the last 2 weeks, and it is unacceptable to this president and this White House. And rest assured, to all Jewish Americans across our great country, this president has your back, and he's not going to allow anyone to take part in violent terrorism. It's acts of terrorism in our country, and that's what this case in Boulder, Colorado is being investigated as. Kudos to our FBI director, Kash Patel, for immediately calling this a targeted terrorist attack. That's clearly...
But that's not true. He wasn't charged with any acts of terrorism. He was charged with, like, attempted murder for 16 individuals. He hasn't been charged with an act of terrorism. So which one is it? Is he a murderer or a terrorist?
But I'd also like to point out that this administration has done more than any administration to curb this violence and to curb illegal immigration. We secured our border in record time, but we're also tightening up our visa process and our legal immigration process. And we know
there it is. He resorted to the chanting. They all resort to the chanting at some point. It's all they know.
This terrorist was allowed into this country by the previous administration, was foolishly given a tourism visa, and then was illegally allowed to stay. These individuals are going to be deported, and we're not going to tolerate such violence in our country.
Caroline, last week you told me that Donald Trump was waiting.
What's with these hail Trump motherfuckers? Anybody who still supports Donald Trump is in a cult. They don't want democracy. They don't want a president. They want a god king. That's where we're at. I've been trying to tell you guys this for fucking years. This isn't about left versus right. This is about people who genuinely want to destroy democracy in and of itself and have god king Donald Trump.
Talks between Russia and Ukraine today in order to make a judgment on whether or not Vladimir Putin wanted peace. Those talks have happened. Where does he stand, and is he willing to impose additional sanctions?
I'll let the president speak on that.
Today, the Russian and Ukrainian delegations met in Istanbul, but the Turkish president is suggesting that it's high time that leaders, President Erdogan, President Trump, President Putin, and President Zelensky meet in Istanbul. Is that something that President Trump would support and would be part?
This Koofs guy seems like a patriot, but I don't know him. Koofs confirmed. 20 North permabanned. Goodbye, 20 North. Koofs confirmed. Koofs confirmed. Actually, my mods are here. Mods, you can permaban him. He'll be back with another alt.
Well, the president has said he's open to it if it comes to that, but he wants both of these leaders and both sides to sit down at the table together. And we saw them do that at the urging of President Trump today. But as for how the president feels about those talks and what took place there, I'll let him speak on that.
What's the president's reaction to that Ukrainian drone attack, stunning drone attack on Russian air bases? I'm sure he saw that. What's his reaction?
Well, look, the reaction is this war needs to come to an end. And this war has been brutal from both sides. Too many people have died. And the president wants this war to end at the negotiating table, and he's made that very clear to both leaders, both publicly and privately.
Are the trade negotiations still ongoing after last week's pause, and how are the negotiations with the European Union to avoid that 50% tariff?
Well, the European Union came to the table thanks to President Trump's threat of tariffs, and now we are seeing that they are negotiating in good faith with our delegation. So we remain hopeful and optimistic that a deal can be struck with the European Union. As you know, we are in discussions with many other countries around the world as well who understand the need to cut a good deal with this president and the administration. And Secretary Bessay and Secretary Lutnick, Ambassador Greer continue to work around the clock on this.
As these attacks are concerned, we saw the firebombing of the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, as well as what happened over at the museum here in Washington, and now this most recent attack. Is there concern in the administration that there could possibly be some sleeper cells here in the United States? What type of pattern is the administration looking at as far as terrorist cells?
Well, there's certainly a concern that the previous administration allowed way too many terrorists and illegal immigrants into the interior of our country, and that's why the Department of Homeland Security is working overtime to arrest, detain, and deport as many illegal criminals and terrorists that we can in the United States of America, and any act of violence will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
On American hostages.
President Trump has talked about wanting to meet with President Xi for a long time. Kevin Hassett over the weekend previewed a possible conversation between the two of them, including possibly this week. Has that call been scheduled, and what is the president hoping to get out of that call?
To the cameras.
Well, sure. She asked about the potential call with President Xi. I can confirm that the two leaders will likely talk this week. And as always, when there are foreign leader calls, we will provide a readout of those calls.
They never provide a readout of those calls, never once. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream. I got some shit to do. I got to get that video posted up. I'll probably post it when I get back from the gym. All right, but I got to go, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Valenti broadcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Also, a huge shout-out to all of my patrons on Patreon, all of my members here on YouTube. You guys are fantastic. The members and the patrons are going to get access to a new series coming out called Valentified History. I got the green screen. We already filmed it. It's going to be fucking incredible. We filmed 2 episodes already. One is about the rise of fascism in Germany in the 1930s, and the other one is about the space race and the arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union. So make sure that you are a member and make sure that you are a patron. Other than that, buy some merch down below. Use that 40% off discount code. I love you all. Thank you very much for 66,000 subs. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandmother. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.